Hello, I'm here to teach you how to be more generous if you happen to be a cognitive miser. Now, before we get to that, let me tell you about something that's happening at hundreds of places across the world. Teachers are telling students, read the syllabus, and students are saying, I am reading the syllabus. Then the teacher's like, no, it's in the syllabus. And it goes back and forth and can become a very circular dialogue where both parties are frustrated and feel like their points aren't getting across. Now, to understand what's going on there, you have to be aware of a principle called the cognitive miser. Now, a regular miser hates to spend money. So if they can avoid spending money, they avoid spending money. For a cognitive miser, if you've ever had the thought of, oh, please don't make me think, please don't make me think, that's what a cognitive miser's basic mindset is. They don't want to spend their thoughts. And this means they will overlook relevant information. If there's too much other information, they will overuse available information. They'll make assumptions, and they'll see what they want to see, which is often that they don't need to think anymore. Now, I want you to remain calm and not panic, but you're about to take a test. This is a test to show how the cognitive miser works in you personally. So don't look at other people's answers. Don't indicate what you think the answer is verbally or non-verbally. And please try your best, because we want to help figure out how your brain works. And in order to make certain your cognitive miser, if you happen to have one, is present, I'm going to rush you. So the minute they're up there, start answering as quick as you can. Did you notice anything about the questions? Okay, trick questions. Did they feel like trick questions? How many people would say yeah? Okay. The thing I need you to remember is questions don't have personalities and they don't try to trick anyone. You have a trick brain. A lot of what happens is your brain has been trained to help you be as efficient as possible, and so it's started to make quite a few different rules. And so what did this test show? All of us are a cognitive miser. How many of you could feel your brain giving you answers almost immediately? Even though sometimes they may have been wrong, sometimes they may have been right. We'll find that out. Now, before we go to the answers of the questions, what I'd like you to look at is, what are the features of a cognitive miser again? So first, as little thought as possible. Second, overusing irrelevant or ignoring relevant. Making assumptions that will reduce thought, and then lastly, seeing what you want to see. If you can keep these kind of in your mind for a little bit while we look at the answers, I think you'll see, even in a very short amount of time, our miser can take control. So let's look at the first question. Many of your misers may have overlooked the very relevant definition of the word discover. Mount Everest has always been the tallest. It happened to be discovered at a certain date, but it never changed its height based on that discovery. Now, when we look at the second one, this one we're overusing available but irrelevant. It wouldn't confuse anyone in Russia because they don't have a holiday called the 4th of July. For us, we think of the holiday and we forget in between the 3rd and the 5th, there's definitely a 4th of July. Now, when we get to this third question, our brain is so wired to be efficient. It notices the beginning and the end of the sentence and leaves out the Moses part. To the best of my knowledge, Moses had a golden calf and there was nothing to do with an ark. This next one, there's a lot of information. And how many of you had to memorize the months of the year at some time in your life? So you learned the April, May, June, July, and you can keep going. So when you're looking at this question and you find out first child April, second child May, you may jump ahead and think the third child's named June, but the third child is the first word in the sentence, and it's definitely Johnny. This last one is more seeing what you want to see. Many of us will picture ourselves in a race, and we're like, okay, we just passed the person in second place, so we must be in first. Only we aren't in first. We just traded places. They're now in third. We're now in second. And first place is still happily ahead of us. So let's go back to our original idea of the frustrated professor read the syllabus, the angry students, I did. When you're reading the syllabus, most students are seeing what they want to see. They're hoping to see the end of the syllabus, no surprises, and assuming whatever is in there that they'll notice if it's important. And that means they sometimes fail to check. Once you understand how this goes, it can reduce the defensiveness and allow for a dialogue to happen. So instead of it being a circular, read the syllabus, I did, read the syllabus, I did, it can be, well, I didn't notice that, what is going on here? And it can change a little bit of that dynamic. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is what kinds of things can help you avoid being a miser. The first thing is your mental states. And mental states are anything that would make you want to think less. So happy, sad, stressed, multitasking, sleepy, pretty much almost 24/7, we are in a cognitive miser state. Now the second thing is a lot of times our miser tries to save us thought by telling us we don't need resources. So we might not look up a word in the dictionary, but a lot of times it's like, oh no, I'll get the word out of context. Or when is that test? I think it's next week. Your brain might tell you, when is this due? I'm pretty certain it's after spring break. All your brain is trying to tell you is a quick answer that makes you see what you want to see. And then the last thing you need to keep in mind is how badly is your life going to be changed if you let the miser have control. In the case of a syllabus, it might be a minor thing like losing some points, or it might be not noticing the drop-fail policy and dropping a class that might affect how long you have to stay in college or your major. You've really got to think of that to be able to control the cognitive miser. Now, basically my premise here is try to think it only hurts a little while. I've got one last question for you. Why am I wearing sunglasses? Because the cognitive miser principle isn't just about questions we read, it's also about the way we perceive individuals. Your brain may have given you an answer, it may have given you the right answer, but the reason I'm wearing sunglasses is because I'm legally blind. Thank you.